Cinema, the only show that's 3 dimensions away from Elvis fighting Johnny Cash in a gladiator match of music. I'm your host 3D Jake, and today we're looking at Elvis, released in 2022. Elvis is directed by Baz Luhrmann and stars Austin Butler, Olivia DeJonge, Richard Roxby, and Tom Hanks. The movie is essentially an origin story or a biopic of Elvis Presley. Origin story. It sounds like he's a superhero. Thank you very much. I'll save the day. By the way, this is off topic, but did you know that there is a Agent Elvis show on Netflix coming out? Or something like, it's like Netflix or some shit like that. I was like, holy shit, what? There's actually a show called Agent Elvis actually out there. I'm like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But I was just like, when I was literally Googling the trailer to put in the video, I was like, holy shit, there's an Agent Elvis show. I didn't watch the video, but I'm like, that to me just made me laugh. I'm like, there is an Agent Elvis show. I'm like, that is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Agent Elvis. What is he, like a zombie slayer or something? But anyway, I digress. So anyway, yeah. This story is a biopic of Elvis Presley. And so, Elvis Presley, it tells you the origins of Elvis and everything, and how he, became one of the greatest living musicians, the king of music, in a sense, the king. And so, I, for one, relate to Elvis the most in a sense of, he grew up in my state, Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi. He grew up in Tupelo, Mississippi. So, Elvis, I've always grew up with Elvis because that man is from here. So every time, like, I know millions of people, from my grandparents to my aunt, to so many people I know love Elvis Presley. So when this movie came out, it was huge in Mississippi because everyone wanted to go watch Elvis. I remember, like, it came out, like, the same time another movie did, and everybody was going to watch Elvis and not that movie in there. I'm like, what? Really? I mean, it's crazy. The movie, I really like this movie, okay? I really, really like this movie. It's a great biopic of Elvis. I'm a big fan when it comes to biopics if they're done right. I know there's a million Elvis biopics that have already been done. I know there's a million other musician biopics that have already been done. I mean, obviously, to me, the gold standard is Walk the Line, but there also is other great biopics as well. And then there's some crazy ones out there. But I will say that this movie is really well done. I really think Baz Luhrmann, who directed The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio, he directed this, and I think he's a great filmmaker. I think it's a fantastic movie. I do really like the story on this movie. I really think the story is strong in this movie. I think it has a great, strong story from beginning to end. I think that is one thing I really like about this movie. And I think Austin Butler as Elvis is fantastic. I love Austin Butler as Elvis. I even think he's so good at Elvis, he's still doing the Elvis voice. Apparently, have you seen all the award shows he's been doing? All it is like, oh man, let me thank you very much. And when I got the award, I'm like, dude, you're not Elvis, okay? You are Austin Butler. Stop doing it. Like, I even watched a video breakdown of someone doing the voice, like saying before Elvis and after Elvis, and I'm like, this dude is trying to milk that award. He's literally like, I'm going to the Oscars and win this. I guarantee you the second after he gets the Oscars, he's going to drop the Elvis voice. He's like, I want to say, thank you very much. That's what I was going to say. I mean, I would not be shocked if that happened at the Oscars. But yeah, I think he's a great Elvis, though. I think he might be my favorite. I've seen another one. I've seen another Elvis movie. There's been one. There's been La Bamba with, Lou Diamond Phillips. And there's been so many other ones. And you could throw a rock and someone has played Elvis, And I will say that I think, is my favorite one out of the bunch. I haven't seen every single one, but out of the ones I've seen, I think he's the best one. And I think it's really great. And I mean, if he wins the Oscar Sunday, then I think he deserves it. If he doesn't, then, he was still a great Elvis, and I think he deserves to get an award for just being Elvis. And he's won some awards, so, I mean, he deserved those awards. I will say, I also really like, but these are some stupid things in the movie that I like, that even though I know some people are probably like these are not really big things, but I don't know, just a little detail. I like the scene recreation. That's one thing I'm sure everybody will agree with on. I like how he shows you scenes from the movie. The scenes are like, oh my god, this is Elvis over here doing this, and this is Elvis over here doing this, and to me, that is what I really like about the movie. I really like that they had those scene recreations of like, oh, you could actually go and Google them, and I'm like, oh, this is when he was at Vegas, and this is over here when he was at here. And I actually was watching, I had the movie spoiled for me because my mom's like, oh, this happened in real life, and so he had to stay at the hotel because he wanted him, and so like I really like this history about this man that, you know, Tom Hanks plays that exploited Elvis, and like all the stuff that happened, and it's just this great story that I absolutely love about it. You know, how the government went after him, how, like, you know, this guy was just exploiting money, wanting him to stay, and it was sending him threatening letters. They wanted to kill him just so that way he could keep him at the hotel, and only wanted to keep him touring in the U.S. That, to me, I thought was so great. I love it, and I also love how Elvis, you know, he plays this like music that gets women all riled up, and I love that aspect of it, you know, and then people like, don't say it. The government tries to censor him, and then they send him to war because of that, and it's so great. I love that about the story. You know, I also really like the, you know, the product placement in the movie. This is stupid, but the product placement, this movie has a lot of Dr. Pepper product placements in this movie. Like, literally, I'm surprised Dr. Pepper didn't have Elvis. Maybe they did when it came out, but it's just like, I'll always see them, they're just drinking bottles of Dr. Pepper. And so much so where like, whenever he was getting drunk and drugged up, I made a joke and said, man, he must have drunk a lot of Dr. Pepper. You know, because he drank so much Dr. Pepper in that movie. There's bottles of Dr. Pepper. Every time you look at where Elvis, if he's not drinking alcohol, he's drinking a Dr. Pepper. And I'm just like, there's so much Dr. Pepper product placement in this movie. Everyone in this movie. It's like, I guess Coke didn't want to sponsor the movie. So they're like, Dr. Pepper's like, we'll do it. Because every 5 minutes there's a Dr. Pepper. And I'm like, I don't know Elvis that well. I don't know the history of Elvis. I'm pretty sure he did not only drink Dr. Pepper. I mean, I could be wrong. But just thinking about it, I don't think so. Also, I really like, you know, I really thought there's a cool Shazam Easter egg. He's a big fan of Captain Marvel, which, if you don't know, not the Marvel Captain Marvel, but Captain Marvel, which was Shazam in the comics, and Shazam was, you know, a character, you know, that was the catchphrase, he would say Shazam. And so he was a big fan of Shazam, and basically, and I like that they had that, like, thing where he was a big fan, and, you know, I thought that was really clever. I really like that. And I just thought that those little nitpickets, which, I know it's a Warner Brothers movie, and there's a DC character, oh, whoop-de-doo, you know. I understand that, but I mean, still, I just thought that was a little neat. But he actually was a big fan of Shazam growing up. Also, I really liked the cinematography. The cinematography was beautiful. I thought Baz Luhrmann, even with Great Gatsby, he's always been a great cinematographer. I think that is beautiful, well-shot movie. This movie's beautifully looking. I think it does deserve to win the Oscar for Best Cinematography. I don't know if it's nominated, but I think it deserves at least to be win that award for that. Here's my dislikes of the movie. I did not like how the movie just jumps around. Like, when they're talking, instead of focusing on a scene that leads to another scene, sometimes you'll see Tom Hanks talking, and then it'll just CGI over to here to another scene where they're talking to, like, oh, he's in, like, now it's in the 30s again. Oh, now it's back in the 60s. Oh, now it's back in the 50s. And I'm just like, come on, just stay in one period and then jump to the next scene after you're done doing all the scenes in this scene. Come on. Like, I'm just like, that irked me a little bit. And I'm like, this is pissing me off. Because just, like, it doesn't do it for the whole movie, but just for the first half of the movie, it does that. You're just getting pissed off about it. Because I'm just like, this is annoying me. You know, that kind of irked me a little. And I'm just like, come on, just stay in one scene. Just finish the scene up, damn it. Okay, don't go back to Tom Hanks sitting in a CGI Vegas casino. All right, we got it. All right. Another thing is, I did not like Tom Hanks in this movie. I did not like it. I thought he reminded me more like the Penguin from the Batman than he did remind me of like this real person. All I kept saying is Tom Hanks in a fat suit. And he looked more like the Penguin than he did a real person. Even though I know the Colonel was a real person. I just think that he did not really, you know, to me, I don't think that was a great character, you know. And I know this man's a real person that really did screw Elvis over. And I just think that, you know, to me, that is what, you know, yeah. You know, I just didn't like his performance. I wish they could have added, to me, more realism. Instead, I just felt like Tom Hanks giving up a Tom Hanks performance in a fat suit. You know, even though Tom Hanks is a great actor. No, I'm not trying to diss him. But I just feel like this should have been given to a different person. Because I feel like he just wasn't right for the role. That was my big nitpick with it. Nitpick. I'm trying to say nitpick with it. You know, I can't get that out my mouth. You know, I'm trying to nitpick this movie. You know, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, but I couldn't get that out at all. You know, I also didn't like the songs. To me, it's like I like the songs, but it felt, I don't know if he sung the songs, but just to me, it felt like they used the real Elvis voice and they just had him mouth the songs. So that's what it just looked like to me. I don't know if he really did sing the songs or not, but that also, I was like, come on, you know, at least with Johnny Cash and Walk the Line, Joaquin Phoenix actually sung the songs. That's what I was like. But, you know, you know, I mean, I could be wrong. He could have actually sung the songs, but that to me, was like, come on, man. Like, it seems like every biopic, they always get the actors to fake the songs. They never get an actor to sing the songs. And when they really do, it actually makes me more like, okay, now I can listen to the real actor's song, and I can listen to the real performer's song. Like, I can actually, that's what I like. I can have two versions of that song. You know, also, I hate that they added, you know, like the Come Together song. Like, they added a fake song. Elvis never sung Come Together. That was a song, like, when they put it in trailer, I was like, that's just for the trailer. No, that song's in the movie in that scene, and I'm just like, are you shitting me? That he never sung that song. Like, that is not, like, to me, I was like, that threw me out of the movie a little bit, because I'm like, that's not, he did not really sing that song, okay? Come on, get real. I'm like, that to me threw me out of the movie. I'm like, okay, they're trying to sell us that he's as legendary as this performance, but I just call bullshit on that one moment. I'm like, that's not, listen, my mom's leaving, like, he did not sing that song ever. That song was not even around when he was, and I was just like, yeah, that to me just irked me a little, you know. And also, you know, this is something that, you know, that pretty much concludes with my dislikes with the movie. But this is something I had an issue with, but I kind of retracted that because I felt like I understand why that was necessary. Again, this is not a real nitpick. I just got rid of this. I was gonna say this, but I kind of retracted it because I'm like, I just could not really say this, you know, because I understand because they were not shooting in the U.S. It was the CGI. I felt like there was too much CGI because I always have an issue when they're in a movie and they're shooting in a, like, okay, why don't you just go to really Las Vegas and shoot there? But I understand they were shooting in Australia because it's cheaper for tax incentives and all that crap. But, like, I understand also you have to, you know, also even if they did go shoot in real Vegas, that does not look like it did in the 1960s, obviously, so they would even have to do CGI if they shot there to be regardless. So that's what, because I just felt like there's too much CGI in this movie when it shouldn't be, because it's an Elvis biopic. It's not like an Avengers movie. But I understand why, because there's so much stuff happening in the movie, and, you know, they're not even shooting in the U.S., and it's in a different time period, so I understand, so that's why I retracted that. But that was my original nitpick with it, but I retracted that, okay? So I'm like, you know, because I understand why. You know, as I was researching, I was like, well, you know, I can understand why they CGI'd it because, you know, so that's why. But I did really enjoy this movie. The movie is fantastic. It's a great biopic. It's not the best biopic, but it's a really good biopic. If I had to give it a grade, I would give it a solid A-. Thank you so much for watching.
The greatest show on earth.
Elvis has left the building.